Welcome back. This is the second hour of Lovebabz Love Talk. It's the talking part. So I have a guest today, Amira Brown. And Amira and Amani Brown are identical twin sisters. And though their work is varied in approach and subject, viewers will enjoy the various modes of mark making, as well as a shared bright color palette depicting two different narratives. So I'm reading from their press release. I went to see their artwork that's up at the Madison Art Cinema, 761 Boston Post Road in Madison, Connecticut. And it is up from May 24th through July 11th. It is Double Trouble, a show by twin artists Amani and Amira Brown. Amira is here today.
Yay.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Thank you, Harry. Pull her up a little bit more. Okay. You're funny. How are you?
I'm doing really well today. Thank you.
So I get this email from you. Wait, I think you called, or somebody called me about you.
Really?
And then you sent me the email. You sent me the email with the press release and a beautiful piece of art for the flyer. And I thought, I'm gonna run this because I just love the way it looks. So I don't know if people were looking. Here it is right here. And I said, you know what? I want to talk to them. So I went to see their artwork. My friend Andrew and I went to Madison. I called him up, as I'm always likely to do, because he'll always hang out. And I said, hey, I want to come up and see this artwork these young sisters are doing. And maybe we could grab a cup of coffee. So he's like, oh, no, let's have lunch and let's see a film. I was like, okay, cool. So we do all that. We see your artwork and we take our time and we look at it.
Right.
I think I took some pictures of myself behind it, in front of it. It's so dark in there. It's like a hard lit place. But I saw the artwork.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So tell me something about yourself, Amira. How did you become an artist? Where are you from, girl?
Well, I was technically born in New York, but I've been raised in New Haven and between Hamden for most of my life.
Uh-huh. And where'd you go to school?
I went to Pear College of Art in Hamden.
Uh-huh. But where'd you go to school, like formative school?
Formative school.
Like, where'd you go to high school? Where did you go to elementary school?
All right. Here's the list. Beecher, Catherine Brennan, Betsy Ross Arts Magnet School, then Hamden High, then Pear College of Art.
See, I knew there was a story. I knew there was an educational path. So when did you know you were an artist?
Well, I've been drawing for as long as I could hold a pencil. My friends remember me being a little girl, like drawing, be like, oh, draw with us. And they're like, no, thanks. We're like 3. We don't want to play. And they're just like, you're weird. Never mind. But I didn't get really serious about it until I was like 14, because then I realized I couldn't draw anything because I was trying to draw faces and hands and bodies and poses. And I was like, wow, these all kind of suck. Oh, guess you got to get good then. So that's what I did.
Really?
Yes. I think that's why hopefully I've done so well so far, because of my self-criticalness, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. I know. I understand it very well.
Yeah. So after that, around 17, I was like, oh, yeah, I really want to be an artist. So art school is pretty expensive. So I went to a local one instead. Mm-hmm. And
why is art school so expensive?
I don't know.
It is outrageously expensive. So you went to Pear, which is a really good school.
Yes.
It's noted, and lots of famous people have come out of there. So
yes, super proud to have gone there.
So how long, is it a 4-year? Did you go 4 years?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you have a degree in?
I have a degree in illustration technically. Mm-hmm. So basically I do art for magazines, children's books, and stuff like that.
I need to talk to you offline because I have a children's book I need illustrated.
Alrighty. And just like that, we got another one.
Just like that.
But after I graduated, I kind of started different. I wanted to pursue more things, be more experimental with my work. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, even though I'm an illustrator, I can do fine art on the side. And it slowly took over and started building its own momentum. So is your sister is an artist too? Did she follow in the same, did you both go to Pear? Did you all? We separated for a while through high school, but after we graduated, she went to NHIA, which is New Hampshire Institute for the Arts, for a semester, and then she came back and went to Pear with me. So
okay,
Yeah.
So now, are y'all always collaborative?
That was technically our first time showing together exclusively,
Okay.
mainly because at the moment she's still in school and still completing her studies. But we always tend to do our own thing. We push each other to improve and stuff. But we tried to collaborate before, but never on that level. So I think it went really well for the first time.
Mm-hmm. So how did y'all come up with this concept of double trouble? And then I think it's a very specific sort of it's abstract and from what I'm understanding. So it's a
Harlequinade, yes.
Americana.
Yes.
Talk about that.
My sister gave it the name.
I like it. I like it.
Well, I started out basically researching clowns because I was looking into the history of clowns and somehow minstrels.
Mm-hmm.
And so
they go hand in hand.
Yep, they do go hand in hand. So I wanted to do a series about minstrels and stuff like that and how they contribute to today's history. And then somehow I stumbled upon the Harlequinade, which about these 4 clowns, technically 5 clowns, but I took one out because named clown is kind of redundant. My name's Clown. But so
okay.
So I started off like, oh, this is going to be a social piece where it's like very deep and in depth and all stuff. But it just changed over time. The romance and the drama started appearing, and I was like, okay, let's go here. This is a cool place.
But that's what artists do. They just let whatever the work it is tell them how to move forward.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yes. And then my sister's also pieces were around family and our family history together as children and looking back on it as an adult. So she kind of took these beautiful metaphors, like comparing us to like nature based elements and animals, and made us kind of weird. So we were more than that, but also like in that kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And she just made this entire beautiful like story about like growth and change and competition and community.
Yeah. So I gather that family is not a single entity, but a complex network. These are your words or your sister's words.
Those are hers.
Of individual subjects influencing each other and growing either in tandem or in competition. Which I thought was an interesting choice of words. Tandem and in competition.
Yeah, because it describes our siblings pretty well. Because when we were younger, it was like, oh, I love you too, I guess. And then it's just like, and then the next day we're just fighting. Like, bam.
So is she an illustrator too?
Yes.
Okay, so is this so you said this is the first time you all have collaborated on on this scale?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And how was that experience?
It was
like, would you do it again?
Maybe. I think we're already thinking about doing another collaboration later. Hopefully in book form.
Oh.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Well, we kind of want to publish some stories and like pieces and just like make a series based on a topic.
Okay.
Well, the topic is kind of like clothes and vulnerability in the community, and just like squish it into a book.
Did you say clothes and vulnerability?
Yes.
Wow. So what does that mean? Like, what's the thinking?
Well, I was actually brainstorming out there for a bit because I'm still kind of putting it together, seeing where I want to go.
I feel very honored to sort of be a part of this thinking.
Thank you. Well, in a way, clothes and emotional vulnerability is sort of about like being open and being who you are and how clothes can represent that. So let's say like you take out how you feel comfortable, what really brings your personality to the forefront, as well as what makes you uncomfortable. Why does it make you uncomfortable? Is it because you're presenting in a way that doesn't feel comfortable to you, or because like, you know, you feel like you're forced to represent it that way?
Wow.
Yes. And like, I'm still working out the kinks, but I kind of want to make like before semi-abstract pieces based on of it, make poetry, comics, and just like mashed up into this sort of anthology of sorts.
Wow. So talk a little bit about your influences. Like what has been your biggest influences?
Time to get the book. Because I cannot remember them all.
Because there's got to be. I mean, I would imagine the greats. I mean, I'm sure.
Definitely the greats.
You know, Matisse and you know those folks. So
Oh, definitely those folks.
Mhm.
Yes. And then I like to research contemporary Black artists or
Okay.
modern Black artists in
like
history.
Basquiat and
Definitely Basquiat. Yeah.
who else? Who else?
There's like Jacob Lawrence from the 1920s.
Yes, I love Jacob Lawrence.
I love him too.
That whole migration.
Yes.
I helped bring migration to the MoMA when I was working for. I was in New York. So I mean, it had come before, but I had helped bring one installation of it, and the family gave me a wonderful book of migration, the migration story series.
Wow, what an honor.
I know.
Oh my goodness. Now I'm all excited. I'm like sitting here.
I'm
with
no
someone who-
artist, but I like being around artists because I
Yes.
love creative energy and people who create, and so I'm always fascinated by people who feel compelled to do what they do around art. So
Nice.
So
It's-
tell me what about Basquiat and all these people that tell me who influences you, and then tell me why.
Well, my work kind of, as you see, it goes into abstract and then more textural. So I see people who like, what are they doing now? What's current?
Mhm.
Also, what's going on in the Black artist community and how they're focusing on their work. Because it kind of gives you a ruler, a measuring stick. So see, like, okay, they're doing stuff about this. So that means that no one's doing that. So I can do that without, someone being like, hey, you're not supposed to do that. I'm doing that. Go away. But also like seeing who's come before me and like that legacy.
Mhm.
So there's Wangechi Mutu, Delita Martin, who I just found yesterday.
And what do you like about her?
She uses like printmaking and then patterns in her work and does these beautiful portraits in these subtle colors.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Just awesome. Just look her up, Delita Martin.
I am Delita Martin.
Yes.
Okay.
She was just featured as one of the 10 emerging Black women artists to watch
Uh-huh.
on a website that I can't remember.
Okay. Okay, you're gonna have to write this down, Amira.
Don't worry, I got a list right here. Right here.
All right, go ahead. More. Give me more.
Shaba, her full name is Shabalala Self.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of graduated from Yale, and she does these sewing-based works.
Oh.
So they can be big, they can be small, but they're also about like a sort of fictional world in which the Black figures sort of live out their own lives.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also another one. She's like 28, and she's like really A+. Who else? Animation. Definitely animation. I really do love animation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just watched The Incredibles 2. Really great. You should watch it.
Oh.
But I like animation principle, like how they design things.
Now my daughter likes anime, which it's a little hard for me to follow, but
It's okay. It's a little.
I think maybe because I'm old. I don't know.
No.
Do you like it though?
I've watched anime, but I'm talking about like animation. Like,
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Animation.
yes. So the principles of animation,
Mm-hmm.
like techniques, like smearing, like, when you fast freeze one of those.
But that's
frames.
close to being an illustrator, right? Like that's like you create and then you give it movement and you give it movement and time and space, that kind of thing.
Definitely.
Okay.
Because I was an illustrator before, I kind of want to bring some of that experience that I have from it
Mhm.
into my work as an artist. So I can sort of like do something that no one's really done before. Like, oh, I haven't seen those kind of, I've seen that in animation, but I've never seen it in art. Oh, how did you do that? And I'm just like, mind your business.
So now, is there an artist collective? Like, are you part of artist organizations? Like, how do artists connect to other artists these days?
Instagram.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Okay.
Seriously. And gallery meetups and all that fun stuff. The networking and the saying hello and
Mhm.
talking and engaging with the small talk and the beer and the wine.
I like that kind of stuff.
I do enjoy it as well. But sometimes it gets really hot in there because everyone's talking and I'm just like, okay, I need some air. Thanks.
So now, do you make a living at being an artist?
Not yet.
Okay.
Right.
So what do you do in your day job?
I'm a deli clerk.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Everybody's got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
Yes. And you know what? Doing that gives you a lot of freedom, I bet. A little flexibility to sort of have time to pursue your art.
Definitely gives me time to figure things out and there's not as much pressure.
Yes. I like that.
Yeah, me
So.
too.
So how do you stay current on artwork? Like, how do you stay current? Do you go to New York? Do you go to Chicago? Do you go to Paris? What do you do?
I wish I could go to Paris. I mean,
Me too.
Yes. But mainly, surprisingly, Yale here is a very good like hot spot for art.
Really?
Yes.
Tell me about that. I believe so. I believe so because you're telling me. But
Well,
how do we tap into that? Like, how do I know? How would I know?
well, Yale is one of the top international schools for art, and that's where a good chunk of the artists I follow kind of come out.
I did not know that.
Yes, they surprise. There's
like
art
a whole art thing going on.
right up the street.
Yeah, what's it called?
Yale School of Art.
Really? I had no idea.
But also the local scene is great too. They kind of sort of work off of each other in ways, and sort of I've seen Yale graduates exhibit at the art space up the street on Orange. I've seen Yale students come through the galleries here and talk to the people here, as well as graduates. It's a really good place to get to know people before they hit the market and seeing what they're doing, and like what people are looking out for, and as a collector or as a curator. So,
if y'all just tuned in, I'm Babz Rose-Ivy. I'm here talking to Amira Brown, artist. Her and her sister, they're twins, and they have an exhibit up at the Madison Art Cinema on Boston Post Road, right across the street from R.J. Julia Booksellers.
great.
Right across the street from there. It's a charming little strip of shops and eateries and coffee houses and that kind of thing. And so I went to see some of the artwork, and it takes up the whole cinema, right? The whole.
Yep, all the walls.
All the walls. They have all the walls. And it is a collaboration between her and her sister, Amani. I'm fascinated by it. So was it hard, Amira, to decide what pieces to curate and to put up?
It was kind of funny because I actually made all those pieces for the show.
Okay. So it was specifically for this
show because I had nothing else. I was like, everything was still illustration work, some fine art work on the side. So nothing really looked cohesive together. So I was like, okay, we have to make 12 pieces. Let's go.
So how did they contact you and say, hey, I hear you're an up and coming artist and can you showcase? Or do you call them and say, I know y'all got gallery space. Can we showcase some work? Like, how does this work?
It was sort of like the latter. I kind of went to them like, hey, I'm an artist. Can I show here? And I had a friend who was in the gallery scene over there. And he was just like, yeah, sure. Let me talk to somebody. And that's how I got it.
Okay. So now, do you think you'll do more kind of gallery stuff? Because that pushes you into, I guess, is this considered fine arts? Like, it pushes you into a fine arts kind of mode?
In a way, I'm still thinking about it. In a way, kind of no, because I've actually kind of come up on some new information about the art system, about artists, how they live, and what the gallery system does. So I'm still a little bit on the fence. I'm thinking more about like making my own content, like building an audience by myself, possibly going through the gallery, or if they choose to contact me ever, maybe take a gallery show here or there. But overall, I'm still on the fence about a lot of things. But I'm still making work, that's for sure.
Okay. Well, what has your heart? What is the thing that you're most passionate about?
Well, definitely art in my family. Those are my rocks, and they really support me and keep me grounded in reality. And
so is everybody in your family an artist?
A good chunk of them are, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Like what kind of artist?
My aunt's a fashion designer. My mother used to draw before me. Her father used to draw before her. And my nana used to want to be a fashion designer. My grandmother likes interior design. It's a smattering. And my other auntie kind of wants to make another business making like t-shirt graphics and stuff. So we have quite a creative lineage there.
You come from a very creative people.
Yes.
Which is a wonderful thing.
It is.
So do you ever get frustrated with the level of creativity that you have, or
sometimes in the way that I'm trying to come up with ideas that are fresh and new, and then it's just like, we're not doing it today. And I'm like, what do you mean you're not doing it today? You're my brain. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Now, is there such a thing as I know writers? I work with authors all the time, and I'm a writer myself. Do you get writer's block or artist block or illustrator's block?
Definitely, there's like sometimes I feel like if you like I used to get artist block, but that's because like there was a gap that between what I saw and what I drew, and that just means your eyes leveling up and your art is just like, okay, we're still at the same level. So it just means you have to work a little harder to get where you need to go and just push through it. But my fear is like burnout, where you just work, and then you're just like, oh wow, I'm so tired, let me stop, and then you just stop doing art for like months. That's my fear.
Now, is there a particular artist that you are following, that you have been following for quite some time, whose work that you really like dig?
Well, technically they're an illustrator, so it'd be Richie Pope. He is a Black illustrator who does wonderful illustrations. They're so colorful and vivid, and he works for New York Times. He works for their radio show, and his imagery was so vivid and surreal. I was like, wow, what a cool guy. And so I followed him through school and out of school, and also fashion designers. I follow them as well.
Yes, because fashion designers are very close to, are illustrators to the next, in another direction, I think.
Yes, definitely.
Because everything starts on paper or drawing or somewhere, starts somewhere. Do you know Veronica Marche?
No.
Oh, you must follow Veronica Marche.
All right. How do you spell Marche?
March accent E.
Oh, okay. That was interesting.
Veronica. She's an illustrator and artist, and I've seen her work. I've been following her work for quite some time. As a matter of fact, I buy her Christmas cards. She does these wonderful Christmas cards of Black women, either as Christmassy on a package or.
I'll be sure to check it out. That sounds
yes,
really nice.
I think you would like her, and she's very Black, and her work is very beautiful. A friend of mine who just had one of her books was illustrated by her, and it was just beautiful work. So look her up. She's on Facebook. You can find her. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her on Instagram. Veronica Marche, artist. And there's a couple of other artists that I follow too, who are quite talented like that. So
nice. I'll be sure to get a list from you.
Girl, just you get yourself on Facebook and follow these artists and let them follow you, because your work is very beautiful too. So
thank you.
All right, so now you got to get a site up, right? A website so people can see your work.
Oh yes, definitely. Yes, definitely. So
what's the dream for you?
The dream is mainly to, build something sustainable for myself and my family. Like an art practice that, I can live off of, something that I can give to my family, or basically that. Yep. Just live my life the way I wanted it to, and not rely on like a day job, or even if I have to rely on a day job, maybe minimally. That's the dream.
So how often are you in galleries and checking out other people's work?
I mainly use Instagram to keep up on current galleries and who's showing where at what fair or what gallery, but I try and show at least twice or 3 times a year at like local galleries or any gallery I can sort of get into that are showing open calls for artists.
Now, Amira, would you be interested in if there was some sort of Black art collective where Black artists would come together and share and connect and support each other? I don't know if that exists here. If it does, I haven't seen it. I think the closest thing I've seen to that, and you might be way too young to know this, I think there was an organization called Kaleidoscope for a minute, and I know that they were doing some of that multicultural connecting. But I don't know where Black artists go, here or anywhere for that matter, to gain support for the work that they're trying to do and create.
Well, mainly they kind of go online now. because there are groups like Facebook groups like Black Artists Here, or on Instagram. There are Instagram places where you can like say, hey, my name is blah, blah, blah. I know you show black art. Would you like to feature me? It's mainly moved online, but if there is a local coalition of black artists, I would love to hear about it, and you can put me on that list.
Do you feel isolated oftentimes in doing this work?
Sometimes, like I'm lucky that I have my sister around me to keep me grounded and just like, there's someone who's like me, who shares like what I want to see. But sometimes I feel like a little isolated because most of the people who are the black artists doing their thing and supporting themselves are either New York or LA, basically around the art centers, and Chicago. Definitely. So
do you feel like New Haven has a strong art scene?
It has a good art scene, definitely. I think like it's going to be stronger soon. Like there's a foundation opening up in Dixwell soon, or near off of Dixwell.
Oh yeah. Keffer's, that's his name, Titus
Kafar.
Yeah, Kafar.
Yeah.
He's doing that work, and people are talking about it and buzzing about it. But I think that whole Dixwell core is starting to sort of become a very hub for artists. I think that's where it's going to start to move, because I think Titus's effort is going to attract artists. I mean, that's what it's there for, right?
Definitely.
And so you're going to start to see other. I would hope and imagine that other artists would pop up and want to be around other artists, particularly artists of color, because I'm not sure where y'all are. You know, I don't know where you all are, but I'm always running into artists. You know, so maybe I got to start whispering to more people about we need a black collective.
That is a good thing to whisper.
You know, black artists, because I think there's too many artists out there who are feeling like the only support they get is online.
Definitely.
And I think you could, you know,
use some in reality support.
Yes.
Yes.
So, in talking about your dream for yourself and the work that you do, how do you go about the business of art?
I really like business a lot. When I was in undergrad, I was kind of panicking because I realized no one had taught me about the business side of art. They just saw like, oh, keep your copyright here, do this, do that. And I was like, okay, well, how about finding clients? How about building work? How about making a website? How about contracts and invoicing and balancing?
Oh, you are about that business.
Yes. So I started looking it up myself, and I actually opened a small business while I was here in New Haven making greeting cards. And though I just recently put her down, it was a great experience on how to maintain.
Were you at Open Studios?
Yes, I was.
In the Armory?
Yes.
I bought your cards.
You did?
I think I did.
Yeah.
I think I bought your card. What were your cards like?
There was my pink. There was the Queen, Joy. They were very bright and colorful.
Yes, I bought those cards.
Yes. It's nice to meet a customer.
I have those cards. Yes, I do. Pink. I see them. Black. It was pink and a black. And yes, I bought those cards because I'm a card junkie. People who know me, I'm a card junkie.
I appreciate you.
So are you still making cards, or are you not making cards?
In a way, I'm still making prints, posters, and print stuff, but maybe not so much greeting cards.
Okay. Why? Because they don't sell, or they sell, or it's hard to market them, or it's time consuming? What?
It's mainly time consuming.
Okay.
Yeah. They sold well, especially my empowerment line, which you probably have at your house. Yeah, because they're very black, they're very themselves, and they just don't give a hoot what anybody says. I'm sorry, I said hoot because my mom's listening. I can't do it.
And I think they were in some other stores around town.
Strange Ways and Bevantha Modern.
Yes! Yeah. I bought some from up on State Street.
Wow.
Right? There was because I think they're gone now, but
yeah.
But I bought your cards out of State Street too.
Wow.
Because I told you I'm a card junkie.
I appreciate it a lot.
I like Stranger Ways. I just never make my way to Stranger Ways.
Yeah.
You know. But I dig them because they're sort of an interesting place, right?
Yes,
of all these interesting pins and buttons and all these kinds of things. So
yes.
Oh my gosh. I know I knew I had a connection. I knew because I'm a card junkie. So all right, so how do people find you? And do you take commission work?
I do take commission work. I'll actually put my website back up.
Yes, girl, because people will want to know.
Yes, definitely. But you can find me on Instagram at Amira HB _art on Instagram.
All right, I'm looking right now.
And then on there's like my link tree to my Twitter, my Tumblr.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. Because I'm a card junkie, and I'm always thinking, always, I like to commission my own bunch of cards for like holiday stuff, right? Because I do cards all the time, but I do a big push of cards for Christmas and Valentine's Day.
Oh, really?
I do. So I send out like 150 cards.
Whoa.
For like Christmas and Valentine's Day. Because I love it so much.
Yeah, I used to, when I was a kid, I would just give out chocolate to everybody, my friends, my family, just about anybody who I met, who I like thought was cool. Because like, you know, it's about love and caring about people.
Yeah, that's how I feel. And, okay, what is it? Amira. Oh, I see it. Amira HB _art. I'm following you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're already being followed by Ife. Ife Gardine is a good friend of mine. And she said, do you know Ife?
Yes, IFE, right?
Yes.
I met her at Open Studios. She was so nice. She's sweet.
She is a great supporter and curator of artists. So if you know her, then you've already done yourself a good thing.
That and her fashion is amazing.
Oh, your work is beautiful.
Thank you.
So are things for sale?
Yes, they are for sale.
Oh, I love everything here. Yes, I need to get you to curate. I need to commission something for you from you because I think your work is beautiful.
Thank you so much.
You know, and it ought to be showcased. And after we get offline, I'm gonna give you some place where you can call so you can showcase your work somewhere else in town. Seriously, this stuff is beautiful. Like my girlfriend owns Cave Vin.
Oh.
You know the wine place on Whitney Avenue.
Yeah.
I mean on State Street. I'm sorry.
Of course.
And so you should have your work there. And then I have some friends, Dulio, who
Dulio.
You know Dulio?
Yes.
He's a good friend of mine. Nice. And he's got a place in Westville, up there with the whole artist thing.
I actually have a friend up there too. Her name's Molly.
Okay.
Yeah, she graduated pair with me.
All right.
I like to check up on seeing how everyone's doing over there.
So that's a nice, wonderful creative space in that building upstairs. It was the
West
River Arts.
Yes.
That's a nice place. And I seem to only go when it's like open studio kind of stuff, when everybody's showing off their stuff.
Yeah.
But there's like jewelry makers and other artists and all kinds of artists hang out up in there. And Dulio has a studio there where he actually paints and works.
Definitely, I've seen his work. I love it. The line work is beautiful. And my mom is like, I gotta get me some of this, and I'm like, yes, you do have to get a piece and support your local artists.
Yes, we gotta. I think it's important. I think it's very important. And I have these conversations with Dulio all the time about the balance of, you have to pay your bills, so you have to have a job, but you know that you are an artist to your core, and you want to be able to have, you want to be able to make a living doing what you love.
Definitely.
But I think it might be kind of tough because I don't know if you can make art on demand. Can you?
Maybe.
Tell me about the maybe. What's the maybe part?
As an illustrator, I've made art for clients, books for clients and stuff. So I know about that art on demand.
Okay.
But when it's fine art, it's a little different. They'll be like, oh, I want a piece, but maybe figure this color in and that, and then you just make it on your own. And it's like, in a way, they're both the same, but one is just a little bit more looser than the other. So I would be a little lost if someone's like, oh, I just put red in it. And I'm like, okay, you want red, but what else do you want? Because that illustrator brain's still in there. Just like, do you want this? Do you want that pattern? Do you want figures? Do you want two figures? Like, got to give me some direction here.
So I just can't come to you and say, this is what I want. I mean, I can, and just give you discretion. Do people give you discretion to sort of go in the direction you think is best based on what you've heard thus far? Or do you need, honest to God, detail?
I mean, I could use discretion if it's for fine art, because it's my discretion. You know?
Okay.
But if it was for illustration, I'd be like, okay, you need to give me every single detail. To
Okay.
like the color of the socks.
Okay.
And then I'll see you later.
Okay. Okay. See, that's good to know. That is
Yeah.
good to know. I didn't know how you sort of make that leap from Illustrated to Fine Arts, and how they're the same. You get commissioned, but one requires a different kind of discipline, and another one is a different kind of approach.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. I got it. I'm in my artist mode. So, do you have a lot of art in your house?
Yes, a lot.
And what am I detecting when you say that? Too much? There's no such thing, is it?
No, there's never too much art unless unless you're an artist, maybe.
Unless you're an artist.
No, because I love collecting art as well, as well as making it. So sometimes, when you make 10 paintings at once, in 8 days, there's going to be a little space problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you hang out with other artists?
Definitely.
All the time?
As much as I can.
Yeah. Is that a different kind of crowd?
Yes, definitely. Definitely a different crowd.
Is it easier to hang with your art friends than with your non-art friends? I think everybody's an art friend, but I think your art friends, at least in the way I get down with people, my art friends are purely about the art, and they're very fluid and open about the whole world and art. My non-art friends, they just know what they like. There's no adventure in anything beyond what they like. Do you know what I mean?
I see what you mean. Yes. But I like both because, what non-art friends, they can give you that reality that you need. Like, a reality check. That's what I'm talking about.
That's a good point.
Yes. And then with your art friends, they can help you come up with the ideas and inspiration. And then the reality check friends will be like, okay, that kind of looks like a cat standing upside down. And I was just like, oh.
It's like, oh, now I see that.
Yeah. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it. I like that. That's true. It's like, oh, I got to start all over again because all I see is the cat upside down.
Yep.
That's pretty good. So, are you reading any books about art? Who's writing good books these days about art? Is there a book out there that you can recommend or you dig or really made a lasting impression?
Well, there's a book. It was my birthday yesterday, so we were looking in the bookstore for books. And I found this book called The Annotated African American Folklore at the BL Bookstore. It's huge, and I think anyone could benefit of just getting a note of their own history and storytelling. So, in a way, it's like writers. It's more writerly and literary than visual art, but I still think anyone would benefit from that.
And what's it called again?
The Annotated Folk Tales of African American Art. Let me get it.
I think I might have that book.
Ooh.
I might, or something similar to it.
We'll definitely have to have a book club hangout.
Oh, Lord. I'm a book junkie. And my friend Andrew is a book junkie, too. Like, if he heard you say that book, he's going to have that book tomorrow. Nice. Andrew, don't go get that book. I know I was like, put the phone down, Andrew, because I know you're trying to order that book right now.
Yes.
So, wow. Okay, so it sounds to me that to learn about art is not just what you see. That you learn about art by what you read too.
Yes. Like reading, living, all of it can be like inspiration for something later in the studio. Mm-hmm. And I try and use as much as I can.
Now, do you ever find yourself overwhelmed with all the inspiration coming at you?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I'm one of those people who just can't get enough of something. So I'll just keep going and looking up new inspirations here and there. And I definitely do appreciate it.
So I see you have a notebook. So are you often with notebook and pencil?
I have 2 sketchbooks right now. Yes.
That's a good discipline.
Yes.
Because I don't think you can depend on your mind to remember if you were inspired or struck by something.
Definitely. I'm very forgetful. So
I am. I'm not forgetful, but I always like to believe that I can remember things.
I don't carry that kind of belief in me.
I'm about to give it up too, because I think I carry a notebook too, because I think, I'll remember that phrase, and then I won't, So
Yeah.
that's a good habit to have.
Thank you.
to carry a notebook and to be ready for when inspiration strikes, so you can capture it.
Yes, definitely. I really do appreciate writing things down because, like, who knows when you revisit it months later and be like, oh, wow, that is a great idea. Let me just pick it up
Mm-hmm.
again.
So what is the vastness of your artistic expression? Illustration, fine arts,
Animation.
animation.
What else? Concept art, which is for like building up animation and stuff. Poetry, short prose.
Okay.
I like puppies.
Like so, any interest in film and visual arts of that sort? Photography, mixed media.
Mixed media, definitely. I haven't done photography. I get scared because the cameras are really expensive.
I mean, you can start with a cheap one
True. True.
if you have an eye. I don't know.
I'll think about it. I'll think about
Oh
it.
no, I'm not. Listen, I'm not trying to add to your repertoire.
Oh. Oh, wow.
I just know all the artists that I know. They do so many things. They're creative at so many efforts, right? So like if you're a painter, you're a writer. If you're a writer, you're a singer. If you're a singer, you're a dancer. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
you're not just one. Like I'm not just a painter. I'm 50 million other things. I can sew and I can create and I can design and I can upholster and
It's kind of funny because I can sew. Yeah.
so do you design your own things
Not,
sometimes or no?
not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Hopefully later.
Because I find with artistic people, there are multi layers to their art.
Definitely.
Multi-layered. Do you feel that way?
Definitely.
And everybody in your family?
Yes. I would hope so.
Yeah, because everybody doesn't do just one thing.
Yes.
And even if they did one thing, if they picked up another thing, they could master it.
Yes.
See, I bet you're that way too. Like if you saw something you were interested in, you would pick it up and you would master it.
Yes. That is very much my personality type. Did you read my mind? I'm a little upset.
I just know artists, and you seem like a genuine. I mean, you are an artist, and I get that sense. There's a lot of creativity around you. You just seem very creative.
You're right.
And funny. I don't think
Thank
people
you.
know how funny you actually are. I think you're quite funny.
Thank you. I really worked hard on it.
Yes, because I know you've not done this before.
Nope.
But you're quite good at it. I think. So don't think that you didn't do a good job. You're doing a great job.
Be careful. You might give me a big head about this. I'll be like, I can go on radio.
You can.
Yeah.
You are on radio. You
True.
can.
That's very true.
And if you talk about this craft enough, somebody will be like, hey, you know what? I wanted to come speak. Or I wanted to come teach a class. You know what I mean? Like there's those kinds of opportunities that avail themselves when we step out of our comfort zone.
True. I'm very willing to make that jump, especially.
And I find there's a lot of shyness with a lot of artists. Like every artist is not larger than life. Like every artist is not like Andy Warhol, just like big.
Yeah.
There are some artists who are big, but they are very sort of introverted.
Definitely.
You know?
I have a few friends who are like that. I love them to death, and I'm like, come on, you need to come with me and promote your stuff and put yourself out there. And they're like, you're right. You're definitely right. But I don't know if I'm going to do it. And I'm like, oh.
It has been a pleasure talking to you, Amira. So what is next?
Well, right now I did a bunch of mermaid prints.
I love mermaids.
Yes.
There's this woman who used to do them in San Francisco. I must have bought everything. What is her name? Oh my God. And I love them. And then I lost track of her, or she stopped creating work. And she had these black mermaids.
Ooh.
And I bought a print, and then I bought a bunch of cards from her.
Nice.
This had to have been like almost 20 years ago. And I can't think of her name, and it's going to drive me crazy. And she's a sister, and she's lived in the Bay Area, Oakland, I think. And but I have to find her name, and if I find her name, I'll get it to you, and tell you. But she used to do these things with watermelons too.
Oh.
So she had watermelons in like all her prints, and And they would just be, and they'd be full figured women, full figured black women. They wouldn't be skinny women. They'd be women of stature,
Yeah.
round and exciting, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And so
Definitely.
I think I was drawn to it for that reason. I don't know why her name escapes me. See, that's the part of getting older that you just like, what? So yeah, but I think you would like her work. If I find it, I'll make sure I get it to you.
Feel free to send it to me.
Yes, I
Yeah.
will send it to you. And now I follow you on Instagram, if I find her, I'll tag you in her. So
Exactly.
You know.
That gotta love social media.
well, I'm looking forward to what you do next,
Thank you.
and all those kinds of things.
Yep, I'll be doing the Mermaid Prince at a Renaissance fair. So the Renaissance fair that's up in I don't know where it is, but there's a Renaissance fair happening for a few weeks over here in Connecticut.
I have not been to a Renaissance fair. Oh my God, in 20 years.
Really?
I don't know. I just I just have friends who was into that kind of thing,
Mhm.
but once I lost track of them, I lost track of the whole Renaissance fair kind of thing. So you go and
Yeah, it's definitely something you have to keep up with. My cousin loves it, and that's why she's gonna be going, but I'm not gonna be going. But because it gets hot,
Yes.
hot in those those
yes.
corsets and those long training gowns, especially in the
Yes.
summer.
I've gone. Let me tell you, I've gone, and then somewhere in the world there might be a picture of me done up in one of the little outfits.
Wow.
But this was like I want to say 20 years ago, at least 25 years ago. So I didn't know they were still around.
Oh yeah, they're definitely still around. I bought a pony in one, not a real pony, but like a little cute stuffed one. I don't think I can afford a pony.
So you're gonna be you're gonna have your work at the Renaissance Fair. Where else? Anywhere else?
Online mainly, but I'm sort of thinking about like talking to a few galleries and like maybe doing a few more shows.
Okay, that'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be good. So tell everybody how to find you on Instagram, Amira.
All right, you can find me at Amira, AMIRA_art on Instagram.
Yay! Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm gonna stay in touch with you because I like you, and there's some things that I want. I love your work, so there's things that I want.
Awesome.
So thank you all for listening to Lovebabz Love Talk. Today I was with Amira Brown, and her and her twin sister Imani have a show up at the Whitney. What is it? The Madison Art Cinema at 761 Boston Post Road in Madison, Connecticut. So y'all get up there and see Double Trouble. It's running from May 24th until July 11th.
Yep.
So you can go see it. And did you have a reception up there? Did people come and meet you?
We had family up there.
Okay.
It's a movie theater, so we have to keep quiet.
Keep quiet.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad I got to see your work. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
All right, people. It's Friday. Y'all go and do your thing. And I'll be back on Monday for Motown Music. And thanks for tuning in for all the support. I'll see y'all later.